I just went to go and get a matcha so I could sit in the park and read, and I just literally knocked the whole thing over, and it went everywhere, and everyone was just staring at me. And I understand, but I'm like, there's no help whatsoever to people just staring when you spill something, and I'm like, thank you for making me feel more embarrassed. Oxford is just so lovely. I'm currently sat literally outside, I don't know if this is the Bodleian, but the big dome in the middle, and I'm just reading my book. I went and picked up a new book from the Blackwells. I left my book at home, but it turns out it works out in my favour because I get a new book. So. So I'm currently back home now. I've just come back from a weekend in Oxford. I say weekend, it was like one night, but we spent like Friday, Saturday there, which was so nice. You've already seen the little clips that I took when we were there. We were actually there because my mum was at dinner at the university, but I just was like, I'll come because I've never been to Oxford before. So I actually just got to have a wander around, and it was really nice just to spend some time on my own, like chilling. The weather, it was so hot, it was like 28 degrees. In fact, it'd been nice if we could have spent a little bit of extra time there, but unfortunately, well not unfortunately, but I had to come back for my graduation. So yeah, back in Manchester. Graduation's on Monday, so tomorrow, and yeah, When I was in Oxford, I didn't really go into any of the shops. I went into Blackwell's to get a new book, but there wasn't anything else that was open. So it was a bit later, but I did treat myself. I went out for dinner and I also got a gelato afterwards. And Oxford's so beautiful. It was so like calm, and everyone just seemed so nice, and it was very relaxed. Obviously, you know, it helps that the weather was so nice, but I just felt completely like safe there. And it's definitely somewhere that I'd like to go back to, so fingers crossed. So it's actually like a week later since I filmed all of those clips. The last thing that you see in that was my meal after graduation. And the reason I didn't film any of my graduation, or I haven't really included anything more from that, is because I actually found it like to be a really stressful day. I didn't really enjoy it. The ceremony itself was fine. That was easy. That was probably actually like the least stressful part, but the whole morning leading up to it just made me so stressed and so anxious. And by the time we got to the hotel where our university had all like the collection and stuff going for your robes and to sign in, I was literally crying, which on reflection I'm mildly embarrassed about, but I think my graduation ceremony was the last one of the day, so there were 3 that day, and ours was like the 5:30 slot, and I'd been up since like 9 o'clock, if not earlier, and we'd been getting ready, and my flatmate did my hair, my mum was here like helping me get ready and stuff. And I just think that whole day just made it so much more stressful, because I'd been up so early, and I was just like, oh god, gotta go at like 3, gotta be there, then gotta check in, gotta do all of this. And in my head I was just like, oh my god, like this is killing me. And then, as I said, when we got to the hotel, I was just like, went and signed in, went and collected my robes, and then I just got back to my mum and just started crying, because I was just like, I want this to be over with. And it's really embarrassing actually, because my brother was with his girlfriend and her family. Well, they were with us, because she was also graduating, and I was just kept on crying, and I was like, I can't stop crying. On reflection, like it was fine. We went for a meal afterwards at the Ivy, and which was lovely. We had such nice food, and it made the day so much better. And as I said, the graduation ceremony itself was actually really nice, albeit slightly boring. But I thought that last year at my brother's graduation, so that's not exactly shocking. But I just think like it's one of those things that is so built up, and perhaps it's easy to say in reflection like don't worry about it, but I'm like the evidence to say that yeah, I did find that day really stressful, and that's okay. I still had some really nice photos taken. I'd wanted to get them done before the ceremony, but the weather was genuinely like atrocious. It started raining. Fortunately, by the time we'd come out of the ceremony, which was about 7 o'clock, the sun had come back out, and me and my friend from my course got some really nice photos together, and she took some really nice photos of me. So actually that was like one stress less, because I feel like you can't graduate without having a nice photo. But if you don't get a nice photo, it's not the end of the world. That is, I'm going to be really hypocritical, it's not what the day should be about, but I understand in like today's day and age that's something that it massively is made about. So try and enjoy it. If you're graduating or are yet to graduate, like it's a fun, make it fun, don't be like me, just enjoy yourself. And trust me, the walking across the stage was the easiest bit. Like that's a whirl. It went so quickly, and then you're just done, and then you just sit there, and I was sat there afterwards, and I was like, oh, was that the build up? This is what it was about. And now I'm like free. Like, that was the thing that sort of settled in while we were in there, that I was like, I will never ever step foot back on my university campus again. And something about that, it felt quite cathartic. Like, I don't know, I've really enjoyed my uni experience more than I thought I was going to. And it's definitely had its ups and downs, but this past year at university has actually been like one of the best years of my life, and I feel like I've grown and changed so much from who I was in second year to third year, and now I'm 21 and I'm not going back to that university again. I might go and do my masters, but it won't be at that university. And I don't know, it was just so strange, because I'm like, I really am beginning the next chapter of my life, and there's so much that awaits me. I've started a new job, which I adore, but it's also stressful because that job is not in my degree. It has literally nothing to do with what I've done, which is art history and curating. And I find that stressful as well, because I'm like, I know people who are doing their masters this year, or doing postgraduate scheme, and it's all in what they've spent the last 3 years of their life doing, and I've not. And granted, I know that it's nearly impossible in art history to get a job relevant to the degree and working in a gallery or museum, it seems, without a master's, which is what I really want to go and do. I want to be working in a gallery, but I knew that doing my master's this next round was not feasible for me. I felt very overwhelmed this year with the workload, and I think I need to give myself some space and some time just to sort of recollect myself, bring myself back down to peace. I mean, before I moved into this flat, and all my uni work was still done, I was grinding my teeth so badly at night. I was waking up with like jaw pain all the way from my ear down here, which was horrible. And since I've moved in, I'm grateful to say that that has stopped, but I think it was just the whole thing of knowing all this change was happening and still being slightly unsure, because at that point I hadn't started my new job. I was still at my last job, and just feeling stress about a few other things going on in life. But now I am more at a place where I feel calm, and I'm just, as I said, I'm going to take the next year to just figure out what I want to do. I think, fingers crossed, me and my flatmate are planning on going travelling next year, but she is doing her masters, so we have to wait for that to be done. So yeah, but I think there's so much excitement to come. I'm trying to get my head around not pressuring myself to be like, you've not got a job in that field that you said you've done this degree in, you've spent, well, I've not spent all this money, the government spent all this money for me to go and do, and eventually I will pay the government back, I suppose. But I don't know, I'm just trying to be a bit more cool, calm and collected about things. I want to take it easy, but I want to have time to enable myself to be more relaxed about life. I think I'm someone who can be quite uptight about things, and I think this is the perfect opportunity for me just to go with the flow and see what happens, and to commit myself to this. This is YouTube, something that I've been on and off with, and I want to take this time now while I've got it to sort of settle down and really take it seriously. If I can, we'll see. I'm not putting too much pressure on myself, as I said. So yeah, that's a little bit of a life update.
Be scrolling upside down, go. I be scrolling upside letting go, letting go.